Today we're mostly messing around with a Sherman. Mike's tidying up stuff inside and he's going to take the driver's seat out and I'm going to recover it. I've cleaned up these threaded, they're only a plug hole for using on a slide hammer, but it looks a bit rough. And then there was some holes in the side of the hull. I'd like to think they were bullet holes, but they might not be. So I've podged those up nicely. And then, oh yeah, around here, this is a bit scary, but nothing we can't do. It's only got 4 bolts holding it on, and we probably think that's not enough. So, but they don't line up perfectly, so we're going to try and put a jack in here and loosen these bolts, and then put some new ones in. Fingers crossed. It would be nice to have all 10 in there. That would be very cool. Apart from that, it's going rather well. It started up nicely this morning. Smokes a bit, but then does that matter? I mean, how many miles are we going to do in a Sherman? A kind of lorry engine that smokes a bit will go on for another 100,000 miles, and let's be honest, this is never going to do 500 miles, is it? But all in all, I think we're very pleased with it. Mike's pleased to get his hands on it. He's down in there in the bowels of the machine, down there somewhere, and he's taking his attention away from CVRTs, and he's stripping all this clubber. And I tell you what, it's so we're going to have this lot off, and we're going to have the edges moulded in rubber like a CVRT, all the sides and the edge. But first of all, we're going to send them, we're going to clean them up and send them away and have them galvanised. Literally galvanised again. And that's the only way we're going to get a rust-proof coating on the whole thing. Trying to strip those and paint them be a bloody nightmare. And then what you'd find is that there'd be lots of bits you didn't get to. But it's coming on so well, we thought we'd go mad and do the job spot on. The white Abbott's coming on. We've decided to give that a repaint, and night crew are on that at the moment. Real nice Abbott. I think when I got it, it done 47 miles, and now it's done about 87 miles. I call it Nigel because it did turn up outside the Winter Garden when Nigel Farage was having his party political conference. Sadly, we had a gay Adolf Hitler in the turret and lots of dancing Nazi girls, which was supposed to be promoting The Producers, a West End musical that was going to be held at Margate and Ramsgate. And I think I was hoodwinked into that because we like Nigel. And I wouldn't have embarrassed him for the world, but that's kind of how it panned out. Onwards and upwards. Fancy letting the yard monkeys loose on the Sherman. Big mistake. Big mistake. I've got Dylan as well. We've got one of these days now. We've got so many staff, nothing will get done. They'll all be holding each other's hands and kissing in the toilets. Alright, here we go. Now, the steering on this, it takes quite a bit of leverage. You have to get your foot on the dashboard. In fact, I'm going to make the steering levers a bit longer, and I'm going to put a couple of foot bits where you can actually put your feet, so you can really give it a good old... But it's a beautiful old car, and we're very, very pleased with it. We've got big ideas. Now, talking about this, on the last Monty Day, there were a few people upgraded in the last week. And man to me word, I said that anyone who upgraded in the last week would be put in a draw, and one of you is going to get a free go in the Sherman round the fields. Now, it's not quite ready for that, but Vanessa will be in later on. I'll get her to do the maths, work out who got the highest score in the last week, and then we'll make it plain on the internet. Here we go. It's in a straight line. Now, they haven't thought about moving everything going into the workshop yet, but well, there we go. It will all transpire. Well done, Dylan. Great hand signals. The project for today is I'm going to try and drill these holes so they line up, because it normally has 10 bolts on here holding on the rear idler, and I don't know what that one is, but that's just something thrown in the hole. There's no nut on the other side. It's a different size, same as that one. It's got two and a bit of welding on the other side, and somehow I'm not comfortable with that. So we're going to have a go at drilling, lining them up with a great big drill and a bit of oil, and it's going to be a bit of a bastard. Now, Ashley's been inside. We wondered why the batteries were flat, and I thought, has it got shagged batteries or is it not charging? And it ain't charging, which is a shame because it's got a brand new alternator on, fitted last week, and whether it's not wired up wrong or whether it's been cooked or I don't know, but it looks big and expensive and it don't charge. Right, next job. I'm going to do something clever with this machine gunny thing. I either put one of my ones in. By the way, we have these made. I think they're about 135 quid, and they are mighty realistic to the real one. And this is for the man who's got a ferret or something. And this is all designed to hold it in a ferret. And he doesn't want to leave his proper Browning when it's sitting on his drive going rusty. So he buys one of them, puts his Browning in his bedroom, lays it on his bed, rubs oil on it, rolls all over it, and then this one here is for displaying to the neighbours, just to keep them. What could you say? Sorry. Keep them in order. Yes. Yeah. Without laughing. Just so as people think, you know, he's ready. Hold on. Now Dylan's taking that assembly out, and I think the top of that's made out of a German helmet. But, oh, beautiful, nicely made actually, rather nice, rather solid. Maybe we'll needle gun that before we put it. When I've done the whole thing, we'll needle gun and paint it and put it back in.
There was only one nut holding it on.
Only one nut holding the whole thing on? Right, here we go then. Now, I was thinking in the middle of the night, 4 in the morning, when I do me thinking, and they've got a rather particularly nice piece of gridding that goes down over the back, and it is really nice the way it hinges up and it just holds there, so it doesn't do a big buggering great big mouse trap. But I might put some sort of catch, but then just to the side of it I'm going to put some lugs back there and about there, and then I'm going to hook a big rack that goes on that holds your jerry cans and your chicken and all that kind of stuff. Maybe a pig. How about a small pig in a cage? Because let's be honest, if you were going through France and you got your chance of getting yourself a pig, you'd grab it, wouldn't you? You would. And you wouldn't kill it because it'd go stinky on you. Well, not till you're ready to eat it. You'd grab a pig, wouldn't you? He does what I'm used to. Down in the bowels of the machine, and these where all the bolt holes should be holding that rear idler on. I think there's, it looks like 1, 2, yeah, it should be 10. And we've got 2 at the corner, and then one's there. Well, I don't know what they're doing. I think they just sort of stop a big hole showing or something, but we're getting there. And then these ones here have all got to be drilled out. Or we might get a jack under here somehow and start wiggling it around. And we've loosened these off so as we can, it may have a little bit of wiggle room. And then we'll start putting in the big bolts and hopefully, and that'd be better. It's not, I mean, it has got a bit of welding down here to hold it on. But I'd prefer to see that ground out, to be honest, and then bolts in here as well. And one up the top there will be hard to get to. I have to take the radiator out for that. But I could put it in from the other way and then put the nut on this end. But just maybe a jack will wiggle it around and we won't have to drill all these bastards out, because that's going to take a lot of drilling. And that thing there, I might change that to a nylock, or at least put a washer on it. My body will fall off on a good corner. You right in there? I'm alright. You right? Alright. Now, the imitation machine gun was getting a bit wobbly, so we've kind of got it all square. Just a bit of a clean up on my welds now. I shall leave that as it is. And then needle gun it, give it a bit of black. It wants a slot cutting in the end and the square hole drilling round. Well, I've drilled a hole down the end, and that's looking quite nice. That's sort of round. A bit more 50 cal than 30, so I might have to sleeve it. And then welded it up, all looking good. But now it should have a slot across here. You all know about them, don't you? And I reckon that slot is 2 cutter discs wide. What do you reckon, 2 cutting discs? Well, there's only one way to find out. I'm a little bit happier now. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then over here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's another 12 bolts. It was just held on by them 2 there. And I think there might be one on the front, I can't remember. Maybe one there as well, but not enough bolts for me. How you getting on in there, Mike?
I'm ready to go. Give it a go and let's see what happens.
Let's get the windy going. Almost there. He's touching cloth. He's coming through. It's going to happen. He's going to be through in a minute. We've been 2 days doing this, haven't we? Dylan's been asking himself, how the hell did Nick do 9 of them? But there we go, he's getting there. Chop, 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 chop. Chop, 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 chop. Good old Milwaukee.